Hi everyone, I'm Megan Michelle, best-selling author. No, that was a manifestation wish. Award-winning author of the Seal Saga, with books Skylark and Born in Blood. Together here with my bestie Megan Medlock, who is laughing because she was just giving me some book recs, and I said you better hit record because we're about to pop off here. So, Megan is a what are we calling it? A feminist financial wellness, wealth, abundance, embodiment, energy coach who will heal
I guess
all
that's
of your
something.
problems. Um, she keeps my nervous system grounded so that I can continue writing. And she helps me out with all the business stuff because she's got a business degree. So, do you want to introduce yourself or do you want me to just jump into this book that you just told me
I'll
to
I'll
read?
introduce myself. Hi everyone, I'm Megan Medlock. I am a wealth embodiment and energy coach. I
That's
help
it.
women, I help women heal their money wounds so that they can live a wealthy life. And yeah, I also bring COO vibes. I do have a business degree. I spent 10 years working in tech as a strategist and left that about 3 years ago because I hit financial freedom and now I am living my best life, which is questionable some days, but 99% of the time, best life.
However, unlike me, she has time to sit down and read books. And she was just
Yeah.
telling me
So I just gave her a bunch of book recommendations. We were
she was
just
just
chatting.
telling me about Yesteryear. Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
it was yesteryear.
And
I
I
was just,
said I was going to wait for Anne Hathaway's version of the movie. And she said, no, you need to read it. And then she was about to tell me why. And I said, hit record. And
yeah,
I said, I don't have
good.
time to sit down and read.
Exactly. And our topic today is on work-life balance, work writing
Yep.
balance, work balance, life
How to find
something.
time to write when you have a life and obligations. Um, I
I
mean,
I
obviously,
will.
all authors have a life because they're alive, but like
Everyone has
9 to 5
obligation.
jobs,
Yeah.
families, kids, all the busy, like, must do things when all you want to do is snuggle up in a blanket and write a book or read a book because I don't even have time to sit down and read a book, let alone write my own books at this point
Yeah.
for many reasons.
So,
But yeah,
yeah. Yeah. How do you do it? Okay, so for
I
context,
don't right now.
so Megan Michelle has a job that requires her to be on site 4 days a week for 10 hours a day plus the commute. And then on the
The
weekends,
commute's
right,
only
it is,
20 minutes-ish each way.
yeah,
Hmm.
but that's like
But still,
40-ish minutes round trip. Um,
yeah.
and then on the weekends, right now, she's in a season of heavy promotion. So she's doing author signings and like traveling to do that in different events. So you are busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have friends and a boyfriend and my parents' life. The only kind of saving grace that gives me time above other authors is that I don't have kids, so I'm not a mom. I do not know how my author mom for doing all the book signings and events like I am, and I just wow. Wow, I think I have it rough. They really are working their butts off. So
Yeah.
mad props to them because I would just give the kid to the father and be like, I'm writing. I don't know.
So,
I mean, Megan,
I think, I know.
I sit down to write and I forget to feed myself. Like I have no
Yeah.
business having a child.
Yeah.
So
You've got the hyper focus, but like, I think talk to us about
yeah.
Skylark because Skylark came about in like an interesting season of your life. And so talk to us
Well, I
about like
wasn't
kind of,
working when I wrote Skylark.
yeah, you had just moved to the state
So no. Well, when I wrote Skylark or when I published Skylark?
when you wrote Skylark.
I wrote Skylark when I was recovering from surgery. So I was off work.
Oh,
Um,
I thought that you were doing a lot of writing for it once you moved to Virginia Beach.
I was editing it. We'd already gone through a round of developmental edits before I moved here, though.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Never mind. I've got the
the
timeline
bulk
wrong.
of Skylark got done while I was off work recovering from surgery and also the first part of Born in Blood. So
Mm,
that was helpful.
yeah.
Definitely. And then when I moved to Virginia Beach, I was unemployed for that whole fall, like
Yeah.
September through whenever I got back from your wedding in India. I started work
February.
right after I got back. So
Yeah.
I had several months of uninterrupted time and I was
Hmm.
so productive and it was glorious. And then I, realized adulting and yes, I have savings, but I'm going to blow through my savings if I don't get a job. So better get one of those. And I did. Um, so I was working from home, which meant I could kind of like write or like post to Instagram between meetings. But now, as of mid-March, I am back to working in an office where I'm like the manager and the boss of people. So anytime anyone has a question, comment, complaint, feeling, whatever, they're in my office saying, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, help, what do I do?" And I'm actually have to fix it. So, a lot less time to write. I like going from working from home to being around that many people all day, as extroverted as I am, like that's a lot of sensory input, especially
Yeah.
when you're like, you like smile at the customer and be like, "Hi, how are you today? Oh, what are you waiting? Is someone helping you?" Um, it's a
Yeah.
lot, so it's definitely cut into my writing time, and this is where a lot of my subconscious and limiting beliefs and really unhealthy mental health stuff comes into play where I do have a really high standard for myself. I have really high expectations and I expect myself to accomplish things on a timeline that is just humanly impossible.
Yeah. And we've talked about like over the last like month or so about your third book, which you are in developmental edits on. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it is a so book one and book two published out, like you've already got that sorted. Book three,
Yeah.
you were planning on publishing originally in November.
Yeah, November
Yeah.
2026 was the original release date.
Yeah.
That's not
Um,
happening.
yeah. And I mean, and like to be fair, like you made a really critical decision too, because like book three is
Mhm.
like a critical book in the series. Like a lot of different storylines come together. It's complicated. And like you want to do the right, like you want to do the story properly, like in a way
Yeah.
that is continues on, like, isn't
The
does it,
quality of
yeah, you
the
don't want it to be
writing.
sloppy. Yeah.
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 Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So that's meant, now that you've got the job, you've got all these things, like you've had to make some tough decisions about the publishing timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So now what's your
So
release date plan?
August 2027.
Okay. Yeah. You look
So
really
first I pushed
unhappy.
it to
So if
like
anyone
first
anyone who's anyone watching or anyone just listening to the audio, like Megan sitting here, she's like, August 2027. Like she's got like such a sad look on her face. Like,
so first I pushed it to January
yeah,
2027. And then so okay, so let's backtrack a little bit.
yeah,
I made this original plan to publish my books always on a Friday the 13th because we are reclaiming that date. It is the Friday the 13th originally was the day of the divine feminine, and then the patriarchy rebranded it as this like unlucky, horrible thing. So reclaiming that, yay. Um, and so I have this whole list on a giant post-it on my desk of all the Friday the 13th for the coming future and had planned it out. And so there's a Friday the 13th in November 2026, and the next one is not until August 2027. So I kind of thought, okay, I don't really want to wait that long. If I just push it from November to January, we can publish it on like the MMC's birthday. That would be cool. That would work. Okay, great.
hmm.
Um,
Which January, not
and
really
then
like
I
a
was
popular
like,
time to publish books because it's like the post-holiday slump, but still, like it
popular
works.
time to do anything. It was honestly like just a very bad idea. So then I was like, well, let's push it to Memorial Day because there's like a big important like plot point in the series that happens on Memorial Day in one of the books. Um, and I was like, okay, that gives me some time. And then I got with my editor and looking at her calendar because I'm not her only client. She does
No.
work with other authors. She does also have a life and other obligations and vacations and all of those things. So getting with her and working timelines with her, I was like, Memorial Day is actually kind of really tight based on when she can help me with my next round of editing and things like that. And so
Yeah.
it will be August 13th, 2027.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of things happening lately. Most notably, driving up to Rochester, New York for a book signing at Burn Bright Bookshop up there, my windshield got shattered by a some sort of object that I never saw. So I didn't make it up there and really got to learn the lesson of I'm human and I do need rest and it's okay to cancel events. It's okay to slow down. It's okay to push my timeline. And I was sitting there like, but I told readers I'd be there, and I told readers the book would be out in November, and I already told people all these things and made these promises and these commitments. And like Megan, as you told me, and as my boyfriend also less delicately told me, you're human. You're
Yeah.
allowed to be human. Human things happen to you. And other people are human and human things happen to them and they get it.
Yeah. And if they
And
don't
like,
get it,
no,
you
babe,
actually
you
don't want
can't,
them in your life. Like, you know?
right? But like, I mean, I think just the look that I was on a video call
Oh,
with you, but
yeah.
you're
You
implied
froze.
windshield. You
Hold on.
cannot drive your traffic with glass on your lap. That's not a thing we do.
No, no. And like we don't
But I
drive
was
with glass.
so very convinced it was gonna happen.
Yeah. And I mean there is something too about
No.
like
And I do appreciate you hurrying up and checking flights for me that day. But like, no, we also can't spend $800 on a last minute flight.
no.
To get there at midnight to wake up and just no. No, the whole thing was just it really shattered my good girl perfectionistic instincts in a way that nothing else had before.
Mhm. Yeah. And like if you don't like I mean there's people say it all the time that like if you aren't willing to slow down yourself, like the universe will slow you down for you. And like usually this looks
Yeah.
like people getting sick, right? Like when I was working full
Mhm.
time in tech, I was working really long hours. It was a high stress job, like high pressure job. And I loved the work that I was doing. But the minute that I would slow down like an inch, I would get sick for like a week.
Yeah,
And
I just
I
had the
actually
universe throw a rock at me. That's all.
yeah, the universe threw a rock at you. Some
Like
people,
literally.
it's more detrimental, like
Hmm.
that, but the universe literally threw a rock at you. Um,
Yeah.
but like there is something about having grace with yourself and like not like having some wiggle room in timelines because
Yeah.
yeah, you have some contracts that have some timelines in it for the publication, but it's not like you don't have like your publishing contract sorted yet. Like, you don't have those things like yeah.
No, I
So,
am I am my own publishing contract. As long as my editor can flex with me, I'm good. And
mhm,
she's also human. Like
yeah.
she knows I'm gonna pay her.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, it all works out
Yeah.
eventually.
But
Just finding a way.
like talk about how you're managing your developmental edit plus your book signing tour because Megan is currently doing out of state, so she does have to like travel book signings frequently. Plus like your I was gonna say 9 to 5, but like plus your day job because it's not a nine
My
to five.
my 8 to 6, 4 days a week job.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, I'm not
Mm,
like what I'm trying to do, you got to get to the airport 2 hours early, they say. So I get there 2 hours earlier-ish, and then I plop myself down somewhere and I try to write or edit or do something. Editing is harder because I really do need multiple screens so that I can see Mallory's comments and like what I'm working on. But this short story that I'm working on, I can write that at airports or on the plane. I have my lovely privacy screen. So I'm not like writing smut in the middle of the airport. Because I know that I look at people's screens. and eavesdrop on people's conversations. And so I just assume that everyone else does. And I don't need people being like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not like embarrassed to be writing like smut in the middle of the airport. I just like would rather not be sitting next to somebody on a flight and being
Hmm.
like explicit, explicit, explicit.
Hmm.
Because you never know. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
these people, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then like I don't want someone stealing my ideas, right? No, but it's
Yeah.
mostly just because I'm like kind of, I don't know. I'm not embarrassed, but also like I don't know, just not
Yeah.
appropriate for the airplane, perhaps. Right? I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Um, I don't
If
know.
they
It's
were
just a hang
if
up that
they
I have.
were offended, you're stuck next to them for a couple of hours. Whereas like,
Right?
you know,
Exactly.
if you
I
were at
don't want to
like
deal with it.
if you're at like a
I don't want
bar or
someone.
whatever, like they can move. Like they can walk away from you.
Yeah, but and
Yeah.
like I don't want them interrupting my writing and being like, "Oh, you're writing a book. What is it? What's it about?" And I'm like, "I don't know because I'm still writing it. Like, please shush. Like, don't disrupt me." Um, and like I put my phone on do not disturb when I write, and then
Yeah.
like my friend Mary Kay knows to like you can like call twice in a row to like
Hmm.
break through the so sometimes I'll have like all these messages and like missed calls and she's like okay I guess you're writing like try to remember to eat and pee like you all know I do it so I think everyone knows if they don't hear from me for 8 hours I'm writing but
Yeah.
it's definitely a lot more difficult now that I'm working in an office rather than working remotely.
Hmm.
But I am taking my laptop. Something I started doing a few months ago was taking my laptop to events in case it's slow, because you never know,
Yeah.
you know? And then you can write or edit or design stickers is something, or do Instagram like get on Canva and do some Instagram graphics and stuff so that you're doing something. You're not just sitting there like playing solitaire on your phone or something.
Yeah.
You're at least still being productive at the book stuff, the author
Yeah.
stuff, while you're at the book signing or traveling to and from. But also, I'm learning that rest is a thing that I'm allowed to do.
Hmm.
And sometimes I do just need to go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do need to not go to yoga at 7 a.m. and instead sleep in until 7 a.m.
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Sleep is like one of the most important things, and women, we don't
Yeah.
get enough of it, period.
Like literally your entire body is restored by sleep. Like your
Hmm.
body does not function correctly if you do not get enough sleep. And it's not about hours, it's about quality of sleep.
Yeah.
Um, so like if you're waking up in the morning and you're not feeling rested, you're not sleeping
Hmm.
in the quality that you need to, and most adult humans do not get good quality sleep, and we don't
Yeah.
get enough hours of even poor quality sleep. So
Yeah. And
just
even
doing
if we
things like
do,
meditation or
hmm,
anything that's going to reset your nervous system, like I forget from grad school what the exact numbers are, but something like 20 minutes of meditation is equivalent to an hour's sleep for like resetting your
y
brain.
yoga nidra is 30 minutes of yoga nidra is the equivalent to 3 hours of rest.
Yoga Nidra is like meditation on steroids, though, so that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, the purpose of yoga nidra isn't to, now for anyone who's not familiar with yoga nidra, it's not actually like movement yoga. It's one of the limbs of yoga, like it's one of the practices of yoga.
Yeah.
But it's more in line with like the meditative side of things versus the movement side of things. So, what it does is it is a journey through the energetic layers, the koshas of your being, and it helps you to like kind of downshift your brain waves so that you can enter the um oh God, why can't I
You're
think
going
right
into
now?
theta, right? Aren't you going from
Yeah,
alpha beta
I
into
don't
theta?
actually remember what the actual brainwave states are, but it's entering into like deep REM or like deep meditative
Hmm.
states.
I'm pretty sure
And
it's theta,
okay,
but I
amazing.
took
I love
neuropsych
that.
too long ago. Hmm.
I never memorized the order of the brainwave states, which is funny because I do sound healing too. But like I know that it's like the equivalent to deep meditative or even
Hmm.
REM sleep, and that's where that restoration happens. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so one of the other things that Yoga Nidra can do is help you access the subconscious so that if you want to activate the RAS system of your brain, which is like planting little seeds of what's important to you so that your brain will actually find that in the world and like feed it back to you and like change your beliefs. You can access that state too, which is why I love a yoga nidra.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
can I tell my Portugal Yoga Nidra story? You were
sure.
there when this
Because
happened.
can
Do you
I
remember
tell
when this
what
happened?
happened? Yeah, but before you do, I will share my side of
Okay.
the Portugal Yoga Nidra story, which was while Megan was having this experience, I was laying there consciously thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm snoring. Because I could hear myself snoring and I could consciously say, oh, I'm snoring. I'm that one. And anyway, that was my experience, my first time doing
Well, yeah,
Yoga
because
Nidra.
you're like in this very interesting, like lucid
Hmm.
state of consciousness where you're like you're there but you're not there. It's really
Yeah.
cool. So while she's getting
Listening to myself snoring. Yeah.
her REM, her REM or not you weren't criticizing, you were noting
Just,
you're
yeah.
snoring.
It's just
Uh,
noting.
just noting you're snoring. I That's how I decided I was moving to Virginia Beach. That's how I
Hmm.
decided I was getting divorced. I had the most transformative experience in Nidra that I came out of it, feel the soul of another person like tethered to me, like pulling me um towards them. And I just had this like message from the universe of you need to get divorced. You need to move to Virginia Beach. That's where your book stuff is going to take off. There's a man there who needs you, and you need him. You're going to heal each other. Everything's going to be great, happily ever after. Get your ass to Virginia Beach pronto. Well, that was in like April. It took me until September, but I did it as fast as I could, in a responsible kind of way. So Yoga Nidra,
Moving
check it
internationally
out.
is never a slow process or never a
It's
fast process. It's
not.
always slow. Yeah.
It's always slow. It's always
Yeah.
slow.
It's always slow.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
for anyone who needs a nervous system reset, highly recommend Yoga Nidra.
I've
You
got
can
a
always
couple
reach
of
out
recorded
to
episodes.
either of us for
Yeah.
recommendations. Yes, Megan has some recorded episodes on her other podcast.
Yeah.
And then also my cousin Kelly runs the Mindful in Minutes podcast and Yoga for You online. So she's also an amazing resource, which is why we were in Portugal to begin with,
Yep.
because my cousin Kelly was leading the Yoga Nidra.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yes, shout out
Um,
to them.
yeah. I'm gonna start doing Reiki infused yoga nidra recordings.
Oh my God. Can
Yeah.
you just like come to my house in Nidra? That'd be cool. Um, Need that.
Yeah.
Not that I can't Reiki myself, but I don't think I can Reiki myself while participating in Yoga Nidra. I don't think I'm like spiritually coordinated enough to figure that one out.
I feel like you still could because you could just set the intention before you
I
get
I'm not
into the
saying it's
deeper.
not possible.
Yeah.
I'm saying people could do it. I'm not saying I personally could stay focused enough to do it.
I don't think that you'd have to stay
While
focused,
in
like,
Yoga
because I think you
Nidra.
could just set the intention at the beginning to like send the healing powers to where you want them to go and then just like let
Interesting.
yourself drift off. Yeah. I don't know.
I'll give it a try.
A lot of it's
Anyways,
intention.
we were talking
Um,
about
we are talking
work-life
about work-life
balance
balance
and
and
how
how
to
you
find
don't
time to
have
write.
it. There's no balance, there's
I don't currently
chaos.
have it. I used to have it. I don't currently have it. It is
So like it sounds like you're like
chaos.
in a season of transition. Like you're definitely in a season of like figuring out like your new schedule, your new workaround.
Yeah. What is my new normal? What is my new schedule? And I know you hate it when I do this, Megan, but I'm like, I have all this time in July. I have no book events planned for July, nor will I. I am taking a break in July. So, but I do need to finish this short story for Mallory by like mid-June. So that should be interesting to sort out. Um, yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
So, anyways, when you find time to write, I find the most time, I'm the most creative when I'm like out for a walk or driving in the car. I'll just have like character dialogue pop into my head And it's something that I learned in grad school when I was doing my PhD. We had this professor emeritus. She was old. She was like everybody's grandma. We absolutely loved her. And she came into the office. She didn't have set work hours, so she'd just like come in to hang out whenever. And she came in one day, and there were four of us, good girl, perfect PhD students, just starting our program, staring diligently at our screens, accomplishing absolutely nothing. And she said, "Why are you doing this? Like, why are you putting so much pressure on yourselves? And like, you're not gonna, if you just stare at the screen, like, you're putting a lot of stress on your brain and on the creative process, and stress doesn't lead to creativity. So go home, go for a walk, do your laundry, like do literally anything. Let your subconscious percolate, and that's when you're going to get your best ideas." And you know what? She was right.
Yep.
Shocking. Um, I literally will like pull over on the side of the road and like start typing in a note, or when I'm like walking on the beach, I just I check to make sure I'm not gonna like run into somebody. But I'll like move to the side on the boardwalk and just start typing in the notes app on my phone, um, and
Yeah.
copy paste it into a document later. I have so many notes that I'm like, I don't know where in the series this goes, but it's really good, so it's in a note, to be used at a later date.
Yeah.
But you find the time when you can, and I think it's just important to also incorporate self-care
Yeah.
and give yourself grace, um,
Yeah.
so that you don't get burned out.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you on that. Like I'm purposely designing my business so that I'm working about 15 to 20 hours a week. Like I'm purposely designing it to be part-time. And it might mean that like, okay, I'll take a Monday off, but that means Tuesday I'm doing like, a full 8 hours or something like that. Like, or I might
Hmm.
just do a 5 half days or whatever it is, because I value a lot of flexibility in my schedule. But when I find that I'm stuck on something and develop, like if I'm developing something or I'm going to like write a guided meditation, but I just like can't get the visualization down right or whatever,
Yeah.
actually going out for a walk. Now, I'm in Ireland, so like sometimes this isn't always possible because the weather can be shit, but right
I
now it's
mean, I live in
beautiful.
hurricane country, so I feel you.
Yeah. Um, but even just getting out the walking pad and like putting Netflix on my computer and like walking that way for like a half an hour, like just getting some, like, it really is just moving the energy like through physical
Hmm.
movement really, really helps. And I'm a voice note girl. Like I am an external processor. And so instead of writing it down into notes apps, I just voice note myself a lot. And now it's
Yeah.
great for social media because I can take those files and like cut them down and then have a voiceover to like b-roll footage that I've done
Yes.
for like thought leadership pieces. But otherwise sometimes it's just like listening back to my voice notes and being like, what was I thinking? Or like, that was genius or whatever it is. Because I hardly ever know what I'm actually saying until I like listen back to it.
Exactly. I think that's great for social media. For me, I've got to type it because it's going to be written word
Yeah.
anyways. And also a voice note, like, again, the smut and also the war context of a lot of what I
Hmm.
write. Like, I can't be talking about like bombs on the boardwalk. Like, I'll get arrested.
You might. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it would there'd be a lot of explaining, which
Hmm.
I mean, I'm already pretty sure the FBI is monitoring my whole internet search because of my search history on some things. And that's just fine. That's just the price we pay to be
Hmm.
authors. Um, yeah, but
Yeah.
I think it's just so important to let your
Yeah.
brain do what it does
Hmm.
when it does. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of authors have like, I'm gonna write X number of words a day. And like, you're stressing yourself out so much though
Yeah.
by doing that. And that's just neuroscience. And I mean, I guess not everyone has the educational background and professional training that you and I have, Megan, so that they don't know that, but that's why we're here to
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah. And really like it is about moving the energy. Like it's
Hmm.
moving it around, like letting and walking is oh god, you'll probably know this more than I do, but it's like there's something about the bilateral movement of
Hmm.
walking that actually helps us process.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
it stimulates both sides of the brain equally.
Hmm. Yeah. And we live in such a information, like an age of such like conglomeration of information, right? There's always information available, there's always input available. Like we are taking in more bytes of data than any other time in history on a regular basis. And we're also not sleeping as much as we should, right? So, like, we're not
Yeah.
allowing our brain to actually access a state where it can process through all of the signals, all of the information that we're taking in, and actually,
Hmm.
like, filter some of it out, file some of it away, but then offer up the nuggets to our conscious,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like I'm gonna make like a math, story here, which like maybe
Okay.
you'll relate to. But it's like in school when you had like a difficult math problem or like a
They
difficult
were all
like essay
difficult.
problem, and like you kind of bang
Mhm.
your head against the wall and like you'd go to sleep and like you'd wake up in the
Yeah.
morning and you could solve it.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. This is the way I did school though. It drove my mother insane because she was kind of micromanagey, right? I mean, you know
Yeah.
my mom.
Yeah.
She'd be like, I know you have an essay to write for English class or for history class, whatever. She somehow knew all my
Mm-hmm.
school assignments. And I'd be like messing around doing, painting or whatever, playing with my dog. Um, and she'd be like, I like you need to sit down and write your essay. You need to do your homework. You need to do your homework. You need to do your homework. And I'm like, no, mom, that's not how it works. And every essay I've ever written for school, and this is, elementary school through my PhD, I kind of mess around just living my life. I know what's going on in my subconscious. It's all swirling around back there. And then like I remember in high school, um, like the statement, like the first opening line of that essay would pop into my head. I would sit down and 20 minutes later have a 5-page essay
Yeah.
that was near perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom, it drove her crazy because it took, until probably halfway through high school for her to be like, oh, shit, like you really can do that. Really is how your brain works.
Yeah.
Because she didn't believe me because she's like, you need time, you need to plan, you need to do your schoolwork.
Well, that's because
No,
that's how her brain
I
works.
just need my
Yeah.
thesis statement and then I'm done in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Seriously. College, I could be drunk. Something would pop into my brain, sit down. Okay, I did like check for punctuation and spelling the next morning.
I
But
I wrote my
like,
I wrote my graduate final paper because I have a postgraduate diploma. I don't have a full master, so I didn't do a thesis, but I did like a final,
yeah,
research thing. Um, and I wrote that on Friday evenings with a Guinness in hand
exactly.
because it was the end of the work week and I had like 5 weeks to get it sorted.
Well, not to
Yep.
sound like a total alcoholic, but there's a reason why people like Hemingway wrote such great books. It's because the alcohol
Hmm.
turns off that critical conscious part of your brain and just kind of
Yeah.
lets your subconscious run wild.
Yeah.
And if you're not sitting there self-editing and judging and limiting yourself while you
Hmm.
write, like that really hinders the creative process. And some of
Yeah.
the best things I've written while intoxicated, but that's okay. Um,
We are not
not always.
promoting
We are not
alcoholism to
promoting
write your books.
alcohol. No, alcohol is not, no, but sometimes it is useful. But mostly what helps me is going for a walk
Yeah.
by the ocean.
Yeah.
That's the
Hmm.
most effective way for me to beat writer's
Yeah.
block. And then I'm getting exercise at the same time. So
Yeah.
it's multitasking is excellent time management.
Yeah.
So
Yes. You're time maxing, as the kids say.
I
Or
love that
whatever.
you can teach me slang from the younger generations because I just
Yeah. I mean, I
one of
have
my
chosen.
employees said bet the other day, and I just kind of looked at her like she's older than I am, and I was just like, "Is that how you use that?" Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm like 1,000-year-old witch. Okay, I can't keep up with modern.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, I think it's safe to say that you do not, I was like, you, you do not have work-life balance sorted or figured
I'm
out.
currently
But
overly committed. Yes.
yeah. Um, but it is really individual, and like there is a lot of importance to like not kind of force like white knuckling your way into creativity. I think is just
Hmm.
maybe the underlying theme of this episode is like don't white knuckle your way through your creativity. Like you will have a much easier and a much more pleasurable time creating your book and putting your book out into the world if you are moving the energy when you're stuck and like allowing your brain to rest and to like really kind of put in these chunks of time, even if it is 10 minutes, to like get into
Hmm.
restorative state, allow yourself to rest and like sit down. And I feel like everyone, no matter how many children you have or how demanding your job is, like it's all on you really to set your boundaries and to like work with your partner or whoever is like your support system to help you out. And everyone can carve out like 10 or 15 minutes a day.
Even five
Even,
minutes. Like there's 5 minute
yeah.
meditations, and that's
Hmm.
golden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say that a lot of people will be like, oh, I tried meditating once, but I just couldn't get my brain to shut off. That's the point. Right? Like
That's why
the
it's
whole,
called that's why it's called a meditation practice. Because
yeah,
it's a skill that you're practicing, and practice makes
yeah.
perfect, except for that no one and nothing is perfect. But that's why it's called a practice, because it's a thing that you are
Hmm.
trying, it's an
Yeah.
exercise, it's a skill that you're developing, and
Yeah.
keep trying, keep doing it.
Exactly. And like the more that you do it, and the more and like the more if you sit down to meditate and like you're just flooded with your to-do list and your thoughts and like your
Hmm.
ruminations. Um I think Kelly gave us this advice, which is just like imagine just like blowing it away or imagine your thoughts on a
Yeah.
train. Like they come in and they leave. And the
Yeah.
more that you practice it, the more that your brain gets used to it, the more like,
Yes.
easier it is to slow down. And I'm to the point now in my practice and like and I don't do meditation every day or energy practices every day, but like I probably do about maybe 2 or 3 hours a week total.
Hmm.
um I'm also in an energy class too where like
Yeah, where it's like your homework to do it.
it, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So like I am in that phase of my development, but like I'm at the point now where even if I go to um like a moon circle or whatever and we do a meditation, the minute they're like settle in, like bring your attention to your breath, I'm dropping in.
Oh yeah, me too. But
I
I've
can drop
also
in
been
with,
doing this since I was
but I've
like
been doing it for a
13.
couple,
So
yeah, well, I've been doing it for a couple of years now, like,
yeah.
more
Yeah.
consistently. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
So like
consistently,
it,
definitely. But like I always imagine my
yeah.
thoughts as like as bubbles, like blowing
Mm.
bubbles,
Oh
because
yeah.
I have the spirit of a 5-year-old. Um, but you know, and it's like all the iridescent pretty bubbles, and then the thought comes and you can just pop it and it's gone.
Yeah.
Pop the bubble, it's gone.
Hmm. It's gone. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And if you do
But it
find
does
that
take
like all your,
practice.
it does, it takes practice. And if you do find that you're just thinking about your to-do list like too much, um, brain dump everything in your head onto a piece of paper before you start your meditation. And that helps too because then you're taking it like physically into something and like it works
Yeah,
better if
you're
it's physically
removing the
writing
mental
versus.
load. Yeah, you're removing the mental
Thank
load
you for
of
being scientific
remembering
about it.
all the
I'm like, it's
things.
good.
It's good for you. It's a
It's
good thing to
good.
do.
Just do it. It's
It's
good for you.
yeah, it's removing the mental load so that you know everything is safe and sound on that to-do list, and you're not sitting there saying, "Oh, I have to remember to do this. I have to remember to do that. Don't forget about this other thing." Like, because
Mhm.
it's on the list.
Pick up
And you know
milk at the
what? If
store.
you if you think of another thing in the middle of your meditation, open your eyes, jot it down on the list.
Yeah. And
Or
that's
have a
okay.
voice note recording the whole time and just be like, also do this, back to meditation. Also
Yep.
do that, back to meditation. Like, it's okay.
Yeah,
It's fine.
it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, so to wrap up this episode, it's all about finding a balance that works for you, but don't white knuckle your way through your creative process. Like there are easier and more pleasurable ways to birth your book, get your book out into the world. And let's just remember, like, we are all human having human experiences, and like, let's give ourselves some grace.
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent
Okay.
summary.
Yay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this week. We will see you on the next episode. And we've got links and all the things in the show notes and connect with us online, follow along the podcast, and make sure that you rate us because we would love to know what you think. But we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.